any kind of opening remarks on the weekend?
I thought it was a good weekend for our team. As we talked about after the game Saturday night and leading up to the game, there's a price you have to pay to learn to win. And sometimes you play a really good game and you don't win. Sometimes you play a game where you got to scrap it out and find a way. And I thought we did that Saturday night. So I felt like we grew a little bit Saturday night, even though we weren't our best.
I joked about it a little bit, but feel good coming to work on Monday after a win, a little more spring in the step maybe among your players.
Yeah, a little bit more jump. It always feels good to win. And I'm just really happy for the guys because they've been working really hard and they've been buying into what we're doing. And like I said, it's not easy to win at the college level. It's hard. There's a process to learning that, as much as you hate to say it and think it, there's a process to winning, and you've got to go through some adversity and on top of all the other stuff that we're telling them to stay in the process about. So coming to practice on Monday after a win is always fun, and now you get after it a little bit, and I think you got their attention a little bit more. And I thought we had a pretty good day today.
Just overall going into this weekend, it's an exhibition game, but this Team USA hasn't lost a lot of games this year. I mean, they've been a tough out for a bunch of younger kids.
Yeah, I mean, we got the best 18-year-olds in the country coming into our building, and they play a very fast-paced game. They've got a ton of skill. They can score goals, and so you really have to be structured in your game, and you got to focus on playing a real good brand of hockey and compete. It comes for us at a really good time. We've got a pretty good idea now after 4 games of what our team is capable of and what we need to focus on going into games. And we're going to be challenged with a highly skilled team, really no different than we're going to see next week when we go play Penn State. So it gives us an opportunity to really focus on our game and be ready to go and play a good Tommy hockey game and then go from there.
You talked about your young goalies a little bit before things kind of solidifying there. What are you seeing out of those guys?
Well, I think Trotter played both last weekend. Unfortunately, Ethan's out right now with us for a little bit. He's day to day, but hopefully he'll be back soon. I thought, first weekend, both goaltenders played great. And last weekend, I thought Aaron really played really well for us, gave us an opportunity on Friday, definitely kept us in it when we were going through a little bit of adversity on Saturday, and gave us a chance to win on Saturday.
Any questions from the Zoom?
Rico, was that the most kind of exciting game that you've experienced as a coach at St. Thomas so far? You talked about how every moment has been different, but was that the most exciting one?
I think all of us were in the moment on Saturday. It was an exciting game. Just the work that the guys have been putting in leading up to that. And so to go through some of the things that we went through on Saturday, and to see them come out on top was really an important step in our growth of our team and our program. So whether it was the most exciting, I don't know. I mean, we had a couple of fun wins last year. We didn't have too many, so you remember them, but really happy for the guys, the way they battled and found a way to win.
Any additional questions?
Just a bigger picture question as far as USA hockey goes. I'm old enough to remember when they started the national team development program with Jeff Jackson. He was there originally. It's kind of controversial at the time. What, looking in the rearview mirror 20 years later, what do you think of this model for developing players? A lot of good college players, a lot of good pro players come through that system. But just general thoughts on it. Yeah,
I mean, there's arguments for a lot of different reasons on both sides. I do remember when they started in Ann Arbor, and I was a young assistant coach at the University of Denver, and the program speaks for itself right now. I think in terms of how many NHL players they've put in the system. I've been fortunate enough to coach some of those guys. They always come with a different level of readiness to play college hockey. just because of the things that they're doing there and the way they play. And then on the national level or the international level, I should say, USA Hockey's taken a big step. And a lot of the credit goes to everyone that's been through the program. So, you're always going to find arguments on both sides. Some like it, some don't like it. At the end of the day, I think you see USA Hockey, the development of our players here in our country has really taken off over the last 20 years. And whether you want to give USA Hockey and the development program credit or not, it's a fact.
Further questions?
How do you approach an exhibition game like this? Are you gonna roll everybody? Is everybody gonna be in the lineup on?
I don't think we have enough room on our bench for everybody in the lineup, Ryan. Do you want to come on the bench? We can have you on the bench too. I don't know, Ryan. We're going to talk about that a little bit. I think we want to make sure that there's a few guys on our team that are banged up right now. We got to make sure that they're healthy, especially going into conference play after Penn State. So we got to keep that in mind. We also have a couple of guys that haven't seen a lot of ice, so we want to make sure that they've seen some game time. So we'll talk about it throughout the week and see where we're at. But I would suspect that you'll see some, extra guys on the bench comes Friday night.
Anything further?
Rico, you gotta feel pretty good about just a comeback win too. You go into the locker room, it was 2-1 going into period 3. And again, maybe it's just part of that process of learning how to win and close out games or come back or.
Yeah.
Is there something that stands out about that? For maybe Saturday?
Yeah, I think we talked about it Saturday night, right? When you're talking about developing your program and the growth of our program and the steps that we have to take in order for us to be one of those teams that everybody talks about here down the road, you got to learn to win. You got to learn to come back in games. And sometimes you don't have your A game. That's a necessary step that I don't know that we can mimic it in practice. I don't know that having a meeting with the team can do it. We certainly try and we certainly want to do that. And as I said Saturday night, as a coach, if you want to script growth, it's a 4-1 win. Nobody touches anybody. We're out of here in just over 2 hours and everybody feels good about it. But when you really break it down, growth comes through adversity. Growth comes from being in uncomfortable situations. I thought Friday night's game was really one of our best games and we lost. And so how do you tell a team that you grew after a game like that? Saturday night wasn't our A game, but we found a way. We stuck together. Trotter played great. We came out in the third, did some nice things in trying to keep, them to the outside and put pucks deep. All of a sudden you go into overtime, you make a play and you win the game. So probably more growth in that than if we were, if we won the game 4-1. So, now don't get me wrong, we'd like to win the game 4-1 going down the road here, but when you're in the situation that we're in right now and we're really focused on this process and being obsessed with it, the growth is going to take different forms and we just have to accept it and learn from it and grow together. And, eventually we're going to be talking about, okay, how do you keep the winning streak going? And that'll be another conversation we'll have down the road.
Any final questions or remarks? Great.
Thanks,
Coach.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rico.